This is Dr. Linda Saracino, High School Supervisor of Instruction. The following presentation includes the 2023 NJSLA Fall Block results. As we review the data, please keep in mind that data needs to be interpreted carefully as it represents a snapshot of information at one particular point in time. Also remember that we are committed to using multiple measures to assess student progress. As we begin to unpack this data, we will look closely at the level of all students to see what types of changes need to be made to our curriculum, instructional practices, and interventions, including the tiered system of supports. In cases where student counts or percentages represent fewer than 10 students, data will not be displayed to protect student privacy and confidentiality. There are 5 performance levels on the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment that are used to delineate knowledge, skills, and practices that students demonstrate. Reading right to left, a level 5 means that students are exceeding expectations. Level 4 is meeting expectations. Level 3 is approaching expectations. Level 2 means that students are partially meeting expectations, and Level 1 means that students are not meeting expectations. In order to determine the percentage of students meeting or exceeding expectations, the total percentage of levels 4 and 5 are added together. We'll begin with English Language Arts. In the 2023 fall block, 77 ninth grade students took the NJSLA in English Language Arts. 22.1% of the students met or exceeded expectations, and 31.2% of students approached expectations. This is the same data in chart form. The data on this slide compares the percentage of students who scored a level 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 in 2023 or 2024 in the district compared to the state. For example, in language arts, there was a 3.6% increase in the percent of students who scored at level 1 or 2 in the district, while the state showed a 2.3% increase in the percent of students who scored at a level 1 or 2. This data compares the percentage of students who scored at each level, levels 1 through 5. For example, in language arts in 2023, 19.3% of students tested scored at level 3, approaching expectations, while the state had 23.6% of students scoring at level 3. In 2024, 31.2% of ninth graders who tested were approaching expectations, while the state had 18.2% approaching expectations. Further, in 2023, the district had 32.3% scoring at level 4, which is meeting expectations, while the state was at 36.5%. In 2024, 22.1% of ninth graders tested met expectations. The data on this slide represents demographic data of the ninth grade student population who took the NJSLA during the fall block of 2023. In order to retain confidentiality, any subgroup with 10 students or less is represented with as less than 10 on the chart. For example, there were less than 10 Black students tested. Therefore, the total tested is represented by less than 10 on the chart. In the fall block, 16% of white students met or exceeded expectations. This slide represents performance by gender. There were 32 females and 42 male students tested, with 22% of females meeting or exceeding expectations and 24% of male students meeting or exceeding expectations. Overall, 22% of students met or exceeded expectations. This is the same information in chart form. The data on this slide represents the 23-24 fall NJSLA results in English Language Arts by subgroups. For example, there were 47 general education students who took the NJSLA, with 32% of those students meeting or exceeding expectations. There were 38 students who qualified for free and reduced lunch, with 24% of those students meeting or exceeding expectations in English Language Arts. This is the same data in chart form. We'll now move on to mathematics. In the 23-24 fall block, a total of 286 students tested in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, or Geometry. For instance, in Algebra 1 in 2024, 24.5% of students met or exceeded expectations, and in 2023, 11.6% of students met or exceeded expectations. This means that there was a 12.9% increase in the number of students meeting or exceeding expectations on the Algebra 1 test. This is the same data in chart form. This slide compares the percentage of students who scored at levels 1 through 5 in 2023 or 2024 in the district compared to state performance. For example, in Algebra 1 in 2023, 38.2% of students tested scored at level 2, while the state had 22.6% of students scoring at level 2. In 2024, the district had 29.6% of students scoring at level 2, and the state had 25.8%. The data on this slide compares the percentage of students who scored at levels 5. For example, in Algebra 1 in 2023, 0.3% of students exceeded expectations, while the state had 2.9% of students exceeding. In 2024, 0% exceeded expectations, while the state had 5.3% exceeding expectations. The data on this slide represents demographic data of the 9th grade student population who took the NJSLA in mathematics during the fall block of 2023. For example, in 2024, there were 31 Black students who took the NJSLA in Algebra 1 or Algebra 2. 13% of those students met or exceeded expectations. There were 73 Hispanic students who took the NJSLA in Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 during the fall block of 2023. 10% of those students met or exceeded expectations. There were 12 Asian students with 33% meeting or exceeding expectations. There were 152 white students who took the NJSLA in the fall of 2023 with 14% meeting or exceeding expectations. This is the same data in chart form. This slide represents performance by gender. There were 144 females and 138 males. For example, in 2024, 14% of females tested met or exceeded expectations, and 12% of male students met or exceeded expectations. Again, to maintain confidentiality, any group of students with less than 10 is represented as such on the chart. This is the same data in chart form. This data represents the results in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 by subgroup. There were 215 general education students tested, with 17% of those students meeting or exceeding expectations. There were 128 students who qualified for free and reduced lunch, with 13% of those students meeting or exceeding expectations. There were 20 gifted and talented students tested, with 35% meeting or exceeding expectations. This is the same data in graph form. Next steps moving forward: data analysis plan and reflection. We plan to evaluate instructional tools, strategies, methods, and interventions implemented and adjust if needed. We plan for enrichment and support for all students. We plan to identify areas of professional development, to continue to drill down data, to hold data conferences and goal setting with students, engage in vertical and horizontal articulation, continue to support college and career readiness at the high school, continue to offer summer programs, infusing academic vocabulary in all content areas. We plan to build reading stamina through workshop model, and we plan to infuse reading and writing in all content areas. We thank you for your support. Feel free to contact Building Administration and the Curriculum Department with any questions. Have a good evening.